So a huge task ahead for Crystal Palace against Tottenham, who did so well last season. Season which included an 8-game unbeaten run, a first ever win over Arsenal in the North London derby at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that thrilling FA Cup run where they beat Manchester City on penalties in the quarter-final here at Brisbane Road. Ultimately, Manchester United overwhelmed them in that Wembley final as the teams take the knee. The fight against racism in football and society continues, and we're off and underway at Brisbane Road. Crystal Palace kick their first ball as a WSL club. What a little slip, but Crystal Palace will be looking to make sure they are not outclassed. They want to find their way, feel their way into England's top division. You can see the respective managers, Laura Kaminsky on the left-hand side of the shot, Robert Villaham in his technical area on the right. Palace with some good early touches of the ball here. Well, but Martha Thomas tries to get it back from Everett, who plays it back. Oh, and the kick out from Yanez, another of the summer signings, Shay Yanez, who ended last season at Bristol City. Former London City Lionesses goalkeeper Shay Yanez, the 27-year-old American. It's gone out of play. Ashley Veerder unable to keep it in. The Palace number 11, another summer signing from Ajax, the Dutch winger. Bartrip back to Becky Spencer. What a season she had last year for Tottenham. 33 years old now, so much experience, but almost seems to get better with age. Nilden made her loan move to Tottenham permanent this summer. The 26-year-old Swede on the left side of defence for Tottenham, the number 6. It's perhaps heading back in her direction. But Hunt, Claire Hunt, rolls it back to Bartrip. Summonen. Bartrip once more brings it forward to Neville, who played against Palace in the 3rd tier. Ashley Neville, Tottenham right back, has been with the club for so long. These teams did last meet in the Championship the season that Tottenham came up. Tottenham did the double that season. And if you go back to their 3rd tier meetings, the last 4 league matches between these two clubs have all gone Tottenham's way. This, of course, the first ever meeting in the top division, and Tottenham with a free kick in an interesting position just inside that right-hand touchline. Summonen sweeps it in. Oh, and it's beyond the head of Thomas, and it almost drops back and swiveled and off the bar, and the flag is up anyway. Well, Thomas gives the double thumbs up for the ball in. Oroth with the shot in, and a shot smashing off the crossbar. Fortunately, for Crystal Palace, the assistant referee already had her flag held aloft. Oroth on the ball again. The number 10, we are expecting big things from her. Robert Villaham, such a well-spoken but candid manager when he gives his press conferences. And he wasn't holding back in his praise for her. He said he'd seen clips of her on TV. He knew what she could do, but since he's seen her, here she is again on the ball. And just manages to evade Veerder. Since he's seen what she can do on the grass, on the training grounds. Well, he was certainly getting the Tottenham fans excited with the review of her he was giving in his press conference on Thursday. And the ball goes behind for a Palace goal kick. Tottenham, of course, having to adapt to the summer departures of Grace Clinton, which was pretty much always expected. Spent the season on loan from Manchester United. What a season she had, the England international. Always seemed more likely she would return to Manchester United, as she did, than extend that loan or turn it into a permanent move to Tottenham. But the surprise departure too to Manchester United of Celine Bizet. Those players contributed 8 WSL goals between them last season, 4 apiece. And there has been some muted criticism as Hunt rolls it back to Spencer that Tottenham haven't necessarily replaced quality with that level of quality in the transfer market. Some expected a few more summer arrivals, given that they are looking to close in on the heavyweights of the WSL. Six players in for Tottenham, including, well, 6 players and 1 on loan, I should say. As Raso, who crashed it against the bar a moment ago, tries to tease it through to Thomas. Hayley Raso, another of the summer signings from Real Madrid, has so much WSL experience herself. Her days with Manchester City and Everton. And Villaham saying this week as well, the telepathy, the understanding between Olof and Raso, which was witnessed at Real Madrid, a key figure in bringing the pair of them here. Palace look for their first real foray forward. Blanchard, 11 goals for her in the Championship last season. Lovely ball through from Blanchard, just a little bit too much on it for Stengel to get there. As Spencer comes out and collects the first indication of what Palace might be able to offer. A free-flowing side in the Championship. No fewer than 55 goals they scored last season. Way above the other teams in the division. Obviously a huge step up to the WSL. But Laura Kaminski saying this week she doesn't want that identity to change just because of the step up. Stengel feeds it through to Vida. Bartrip wins it back for Tottenham. Neville to Summerlin, and Neville wins the free kick for the push by Vida. Crystal Palace beginning the season with a away London derby next week, or at the end of this week rather, Friday night. A home London derby, a first ever home WSL fixture against the champions Chelsea at Selhurst Park too. Tottenham coming forward again. The through ball can't find Thomas and rolls all the way through to Yanez. Yeah, Crystal Palace at home to Chelsea on Friday night. So really tough. Well, whatever the fixture list throws your way when you are a newly promoted club, it's going to be a tough start. Riley with the through ball, but the flag is up against Stengel. Well, in fact, play's been stopped for an injury. It wasn't offside. It's Nilden who is down. The Tottenham left back. 26-year-old Swedish international. So Tottenham medical staff attend to her. And Arthur Thomas just has a quick word with Amy Fern, the referee. Oh, and Nilden looks in quite some pain there, in fact. He's kicking out. And hope she's okay. Well, this was the moment ago when Blanchard, lovely ball off the outside of her right boot, but just a little bit too much pace on it. Stengel read the ball, made the run, well-timed run, but a little too much on the pass. Villaham having a word with his team. What an impact he made last year in his first season. No surprise when the club offered him an extended contract this summer. Vicky Jepson alongside him to the left, just stepping back towards the dugout. Once the interim manager here, of course, Vicky Jepson herself towards the end of that season before last, when Tottenham only just stayed up. Now she is very much part of Robert Villaham's coaching staff. And there, Laura Kaminski. the right of the two Palace coaches, with the turquoise on her shin and heading back towards her dugout. She'll be pretty pleased with what she's seen in this opening almost 10 minutes of Crystal Palace's WSL debut. And there's 3 medical staff now attending to Amanda Nilden, and a swab or a cloth being held to the left side of her face. So it would appear to be a head injury. That's why the game had to be stopped. Summonen and Neville chatting to the referee. And Charlotte Grant of Tottenham is just warming up in case she's needed to come on as a replacement for Amanda Nilden, the Australia international defender. Charlotte Grant is preparing to enter the fray if it's decided that Amanda Nilden is not able to continue. Charlotte Grant, of course, arrived at Tottenham back in January when her contract expired at Vittsjö in Sweden, signing with Tottenham till 2026. She may be needed as an early introduction just 10 minutes into this game if Nilden's unable to continue. Understandably, no hurry here. Taking every precaution with that injury to the left temple, it looks like. And Amanda Nilden, it does appear, is going to have to leave the field. These slips of paper confirming that substitution appeared to be handed into the assistant referee there. But maybe Nilden is still waiting on the touchline as the game restarts with the drop ball. And she is coming back on, but for how long? Because it did appear that that substitution request went in. Hasn't happened yet though. Nilden's still officially part of this game. Palace with the ball. And Oroth dispossesses Blanchard, the 2 number 10. Spence with a lovely ball through to Thomas. Raso with the ball back inside, too much on it, and it's swept away by Josie Green, once of Tottenham, arrived in the summer from Leicester. Raso wins the ball ahead of Vida and does well to get the touch back to Neville. Can she keep it in? She does. She whips across in. Headed away by Vaya. Katrina Vaya, signed from Everton. So much experience. The Denmark international, the Palace number 2. She was talking in her press conference or her media duties when she arrived to say she really relishes being one of the more experienced players here in a squad with plenty of youthful exuberance. 33 years old now, Katrina Vaya, 160 caps for her country. Or when there's a foul by Vida on Raso. And Nilden is still part of the game. The substitute for, I think Tottenham are just seeing if Nilden's okay really to continue, but Charlotte Grant is very much ready to come on should she be needed to. Tottenham with a free kick for the foul by Ashley Vida on Hayley Raso. Summonen takes it, knocks it short to Bartrip behind her. And Olof is momentarily dispossessed. Palace look to spring forward with Stengel giving chase, but Hunt is able to let the ball roll out. And Nilden looks okay, takes the throw. Headed on by Spence. Everett gets there before Thomas and takes the throw in to Vaya. Vaya looks to stretch away from Thomas. Does well there, Katrina Vaya. Palace look to break and almost once more the ball just a little too much on it for Stengel. to bring it under control, but a really impressive first 15 minutes from Crystal Palace. Not at all looking out of their depth in England's top division. I mentioned how they'll play Chelsea at Selhurst Park on Friday night. Of course, their regular home is the VBS Community Stadium in Sutton. Tottenham, through Jess Naz, wonder season for her last year as well, and an England debut in July's fixtures. Scored the late equaliser at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in that FA Cup semi-final when Tottenham were trailing Leicester with 7 minutes to go. And Jess Naz cut in from the left-hand side to sweep a glorious finish home and set up the extra time period where Martha Thomas headed in the winner to take Tottenham to Wembley. Their first ever FA Cup final ended in a heavy defeat, 4-0. Manchester United the winners. But so much for Tottenham to be proud of from last season, even if that Wembley performance didn't do them justice really for what they can offer. Tottenham come again with Raso. Raso gets a shot in, it's straight at Yanez. First effort on target of the game from Tottenham. Raso hit the bar when the flag was already up early on. And this time her shot too close to Shea Yanez. Yanez said it was too good an opportunity to turn down when Bristol City offered her back in January the chance, she said, to fulfill her WSL dream. And she arrived at Bristol City from the US, having only departed from these shores a few months earlier when she left London City Lionesses. She returned for Bristol City, was unable to help them stave off relegation as they went straight back down, did Bristol City. And Crystal Palace are the team that have replaced them. And Yanez is now a Crystal Palace goalkeeper. And somebody made a decent stop just then, albeit it came straight towards her. But she was adept in her handling. Neville with acres to run into down this right-hand side. Raso takes it beyond Via. Raso in towards Thomas, and it'll come through to Naz. Naz knocks it back. Spence with the shots, and it may have taken a slight deflection off Orof. And Yanez again is there, proving equal to what Tottenham are throwing at her over this last couple of minutes. Tottenham getting into their stride. Spence can hit them. I think that went clean through, actually. She didn't quite get the power that she is capable of exerting from distance. She's shown that in the past as Drew Spence. That one, though, ultimately drifted into the arms of Yanez, who read it well. And when Tottenham go ahead, they don't tend to lose. Last year, they were the only team to be unbeaten in every game in which they scored first in the WSL. Raso. Oh, lovely footwork by Hayley Raso. Can she get the shot away? She does, and it's beyond Yanez. And into the back of the net for a debut goal for Hayley Raso. It's like she's never been away from the WSL. Sensational footwork. And a daisy cutter of a shot. Inch perfect placement. Opted for accuracy over power and just rolled it home. Tottenham ahead. And as I was saying, when they go ahead, they rarely lose. Nine times they went ahead in the WSL last season. They won 6 of them, drew the other 3. They're in a strong position once more, thanks to Hayley Raso, freshly signed from Real Madrid, the Australia international, part of their run to the World Cup semi-finals on home soil back in the summer of 2023. The Lionesses it was who ended that World Cup dream at the semi-final stage. She scored 3 goals in that campaign herself, did Raso. She has real quality in front of goal, as she proved just moments ago. Hunt to Bartrip. Come on, you Spurs. It's a cheer of the home crowd. It was a pretty even opening 18 minutes, but Tottenham now have the lead. They've broken the deadlock, if you can call it a deadlock this early in a game. Probably not. But they have got themselves on the score sheet. They've got themselves into a commanding position. Hunt. Summerden. The return was too heavy though. Hunt with a lovely ball through to Raso, the goal scorer. Oh, and she is looking like an absolute quality signing, is Hayley Raso. Naz can't hold on to it. I guess if the Real Madrid duo arriving here at Tottenham, Raso and Oroth, there was perhaps slightly more excitement around Oroth, given the way she's been talked up, and because I guess she's a bit of an unknown quantity, and we've seen Raso in the WSL before, but it's Raso who's setting the game alight here, perhaps because she has the WSL know-how, the experience. For Oroth, this is a new league, and I'm sure she is going to show exactly what she can do, as she has already with a couple of promising touches and winning at Tottenham a couple of free kicks. Maite Oroth, but it is Hayley Raso who has been the player of the afternoon so far in these very early stages. Bethany England, of course, among the substitutes for Tottenham, as Milé Guile plays a lovely through ball. Palace on the counter. Gibbons rolls it through to Vida. Vida couldn't beat the first defender with her low cross. Neville now sprints into space for Spurs. Still Neville. Inside to Spence. Spence tries to find Naz, but it's cut out by Green. Back to her captain, Everett. Both former Leicester players, Green and Everett. Guile to Potter. Lexi Potter, the number 17. Impressive season on loan from Chelsea last term, and Laura Kaminsky saying she was delighted to get her back for another season on loan from Chelsea. Lexi Potter, who's on the ball here. Green. Everett. Everett, a player who has helped 3 teams win promotion from the Championship: Liverpool, Leicester, and now Crystal Palace. The Palace skipper this afternoon. Riley tries to thread it through to Stengel. But in fact, it was Guile. Riley managed to find Guile. 2 summer signings there. India Paige Riley, the New Zealand international, the number 20, who arrived from PSV. And Milé Guile, who arrived from North Carolina Courage. The 24-year-old Dane, Milé Guile. In fact, she turns 25 tomorrow. Fitzgibbons with the corner for Palace. Fitzgibbons very much part of the side that won promotion from the Championship last term, now 30 years old. Back in the top division, where she has played for other clubs. And with the corner here, taken low and short to Blanchard. Blanchard with the cross towards the penalty spot, but it finds no one in particular. And Naz brings it away for Tottenham, but as she attempted to find Neville, it clips up off a Palace boot and rolls all the way through to Yanez. Potter. As I mentioned in the intro, two of Potter's under-19 England teammates now at Palace 2 on loan. Brooke Aspin, the centre-back, joining on loan from Chelsea, and Poppy Pritchard. So much expected of her, real excitement. The forward on loan from Manchester City. All of them season-long loans, and Laura Kaminsky familiar with them from her roles with the England youth setup. She said seeing the three of them playing in small-sided games together on the training ground and the understanding that they have gives her real excitement for what they can offer Crystal Palace in their debut season. Of the three, it's just Potter in the starting lineup in central midfield this afternoon. Will we see perhaps Poppy Pritchard later if Palace are still chasing this game? Or Brooke Aspin maybe if the defence tires in the later stages. Real mixture of youth and experience that Kaminsky has brought here. 14 summer signings, 9 permanent, 5 loans. But they do find themselves in the familiar position of newly promoted sides of being behind on their first game in the division. But it is just the slenderest of leads for Tottenham. Potter with the ball back to Yanez. Everett. Oroth with a lovely ball through towards Thomas. And Thomas couldn't quite get there. It was fine defending from Everett. Well, that was a beautiful pass from Maite Oroth in the direction of Martha Thomas, who has won the fight for the number 9 position with the woman who wears the number 9 shirt, Bethany England. Robert Villahan was asked in his press conference on Thursday whether he could see the pair of them playing up top together. And again, he was just very open. You don't always get this from managers. He said those two at the moment, in the way he sees his team playing primarily, are battling for the number 9 shirt. He didn't give away who would start this game, of course, but it is Martha Thomas, who had that magnificent spell at the start of last season. Finished the campaign as Tottenham's top scorer with 7 WSL goals. Having signed from Manchester United last summer, the Scotland international. Goals dried up a bit for her in the second half of the campaign. Did get, as I mentioned, that late header in the FA Cup semi-final at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which won it against Leicester to take Tottenham through to that FA Cup final against Manchester United. Via. Stenkel. Vida has got a little bit of space here as Neville looks to close her down, and Neville gets the foot in and rolls it behind for a Palace corner. Ashley Neville, longest serving player at Tottenham. What a career she's had. Former PE teacher. Has seen it all, done it all, lived the dream of being able to turn pro. And it is Geil with the corner. The Denmark international. Summer signing. Can Palace level just before the half-hour mark? Again, it's taken short and low towards Blanchard. Back to Geil. Sweeps it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's gone skewing off of the shin of Claire Hunt and onto the roof of the stand as the fans cheer as the ball re-enters the pitch. And in fact, that ball is now going to be turfed back out of play after performing that little bit of acrobatics for the watching supporters. Gets a little rest, I guess, after the circus trick of rolling back down the roof and onto the pitch. Fresh match ball. Again, Palace from a third corner in quick succession. This time taken deep. Oh, and the ball just evaded the Palace forward line, amassed in that Tottenham 6-yard area. Spencer wasn't tempted to come for it, and it got a touch, and it's out for another corner. Palace putting a bit of set-piece pressure on Tottenham here. Gibbons with the corners from this side. Guile from Palace's left, but Gibbons from this right-hand side. Two arms aloft. This time she hits it high and towards the far post. Palace just about keep it alive. Naz will get there first and plays it off Vida and out for the Tottenham throw, and they have the opportunity now just to relieve a little bit of this pressure as they've struggled to get it away from that succession of corners. Vaya plays the short 1-2 with Potter, now across to Everett, the captain. Green back to Yanez. Made two decent stops, but couldn't do anything about the goal with which Hayley Raso gave Tottenham a 19th minute lead. We've just reached a half hour. 1-0 it remains to the hosts. Bartrip. It's back with Yanez once more. Raso knocks it out of play. Palace throw. Tottenham continuing or picking up this season from where they left off last. They ended the season in decent form, losing just one of their final 7 games in the WSL last season. That was to the champions Chelsea. Only the final top 4 actually picked up more points across those final 7 fixtures. Tottenham got 12 as they win a free kick for the foul on Raso. Chelsea picked up 18, Man City 18, Arsenal and Liverpool both 16. Tottenham got 12 points from their final 7 games. And with a third of this match gone, they are beginning the 2024-25 season with a win. Long, long way to go. Referee Amy Thurn just having a word and telling the players what she expects of them. Blanchard of Palace and Raso of Tottenham. Just trying to calm things down there is Amy Thurn. Hugely experienced referee, of course. Well, Tottenham have taken the lead and taken the sting out of the game, really. It suits them for now. Nilden, who's recovered from that injury, thankfully, didn't have to be replaced by Charlotte Grant. Here she is, Nilden, with the ball across to Bartrip. Oh, lovely ball by Bartrip to Neville, who will keep it in. Pulls it back to Raso. Raso went for the shot again, I think, as well, or she was just trying to hit it in the general direction of the goal, knowing that it might flick off a leg or two and perhaps find a white shirt or even find its way into the back of the net. Not on that occasion. It was cut out quickly by a Palace boot. Tottenham throw taken by Neville. Back to Bartrip, inside to Summonen. Nilden. Nilden with the ball in the general direction of Nads, but was asking way too much of her, and Everett gets there. Gibbons. Gibbons over the top towards Guile. Neville reads it well and knocks it out of play. Palace throw. Guile opts to leave it to Gibbons. Short to Guile. Via to Everett. And Everett all the way back to Yanas. 10 minutes plus added time remain of this first half. Via with a lovely ball to Guile, her Danish compatriot. Vida, the Dutch woman. Vida takes on Neville. Raso comes to help out, and Vida found a way between the two of them, but Oroth gets the boost in. Palace win it immediately back. Vida holds on to it. Ashley Vida, can she get the low cross in? Well, she goes high and it's headed back across goal. Well, the best moment we've seen from Palace for a moment. Great footwork from Ashley Vida, the new signing from Ajax. Half chance for Palace. Spencer to Bartrip to Sumanen. Sumanen's pass evades Spence and is picked up by Green. Green, a former Tottenham captain herself, was named Spurs captain in the second season for them in the WSL. 2020-21. Also part of the team that came up from the third tier was Josie Green, all the way to the WSL. Took the armband she did from the Jenna Schianacci when she retired, the long-serving Tottenham player. Palace on the attack with Riley to Green, once of Tottenham. Cross towards the edge of the area. Sumanen heads it away. Palace win it back. Everett. Everett whips it forward. Stengel does really well with the back heel in the direction of Blanchard. Oh, it's given away by Tottenham. Blanchard picks it up, took it off the feet rather of Vida, and she falls to the turf. Half an appeal. Neville had to get that spot on. And by the reading of the referee, she did, Ashley Neville. Potter. Good little spell this from Palace. They're confident in possession. They are not at all overawed on their WSL debut. They've responded well to going behind. And they're very much still in this. Via to Everett. Important for them to get to half-time without letting in another goal. Palace. Riley's touch was just a little too heavy and it gave Bartrip the chance to scurry across and clear it. Green with the throw for Tottenham. Finds Potter. Well, in fact, doesn't quite find Potter. Nilden defended astutely. Got the shoulder in front of Potter and allowed it to go behind for the goal kick. This is that Palace chance moments ago when Ashley Vida did so well. And it was Josie Green with the header. I don't know if she just didn't connect right and was going for goal and was trying to head it back in the direction of Katie Stengel. But it was a real opportunity for Josie Green against her former club. Ultimately came to nothing. The Spurs have won a free kick for a push midway inside their own half. Bartrip. Spears one through the middle to Raso, who dove in rather. Lucky she didn't connect with a Crystal Palace player there. Spence to Raso. Raso tries to return it to Spence. Palace cut the ball out, but Sumanen wins it back for Tottenham. Strong in the challenge there. Really impactful player the Finnish international has been since joining the season before last. Evelina Sumanen, the number 25, a fixture in the heart of that Tottenham midfield now. Oroth to Naz. Green wins it back for Palace. Everett a little light on the pass to Yanez, but the Palace keeper read it really well. Not the greatest clearance though. Oroth to Bartrip. Hunt to Naz. Hunt is forced all the way back to Spencer. Bartrip to Oroth, returns it to the Tottenham captain. Bartrip brings it forward, rolls it out to Neville on the right-hand side. Neville does really well to hold on to it. Lovely footwork from Neville, and she takes it beyond Potter. Forces Thomas a little wide with the path, but great territory won by Neville. Raso with the cross, headed back by Nilden. Spence with the shot, but she caught a Palace player instead. As she went for the ball, she missed it. And the whistle goes for the foul. Really promising move that for Tottenham, sparked by Ashley Neville. And it's Josie Green who's down, holding her left shin rather. Caught by the boot of Drew Spence accidentally, who was going for the shot. Lovely build-up play from Tottenham through Neville. The cross from Raso. The header back from Nilden. And as Spence tried to connect, she instead connected with Josie Green. 31-year-old Wales international is making her Palace debut. As are 6 other players on the pitch this afternoon. And a few more waiting from the bench as well. Everett, strong run out of defence. Riley with the turn. It's out of play for a Palace throw, to the discontent of the home fans who felt that should have been a Spurs throw-in. Everett to Via. Via sweeps it out to the left-hand side. Guile with the high boot, but it's a fair boot, says Amy Fern. Not too high. Tottenham win it back regardless. Spence through the middle for Thomas. Thomas is going to get there. Thomas with the first touch, and the second touch is straight into Yanez's midriff. And Thomas hits the ground in frustration. Another brilliantly timed run from Martha Thomas. Her first touch was perfect to just knock it into the position where she wanted to take that shot from. But Yanez's positioning was also astute. Thomas struck it straight at the Eagles goalkeeper, Spence. Into the final minute of the half. We're expecting the fourth official to show 5 additional minutes as Riley wins it back for Palace and rolls it back to Yanez. So still time for Palace to grab an equaliser before the break, or for Tottenham to put daylight between themselves and their visitors. Gibbons to Vi. Everett. Everett tries to find Green, but it's cut out by Nilden. 5 minutes is shown. Nilden! Still Nilden, was she pushed? Oh, the shot comes in from Raso. Well, Nilden didn't appeal, but it looked like she got a shove in the back. The loose ball dropped to Raso. His shot was saved. Tottenham come again. It's with Raso once more. Bartrip to Neville. Tries to play the 1-2 with Raso. Can Neville get there? She does, but the whistle has gone. Well, Neville saying she would rather have had the advantage. But a free kick has been given Tottenham's way. This was the moment when Amanda Nilden strode beyond Potter and Everett, received the ball back from Thomas. And as she fell to the turf, Raso got the shot in, and given the precision she showed with the moment that she gave Tottenham the lead back in the 90th minute, you'd have expected perhaps rather better from Hayley Raso there, with a glorious opportunity to give Tottenham a 2-goal lead. The next move resulted in this free kick, which Suminen hovers over. Suminen, right arm aloft. Deep cross in and straight at Yanez. Stengel can't quite find Riley, and the ball drifts out of play. 3 of the added 5 minutes remaining at the end of this first half. Tottenham lead 1-0. Hayley Raso, the goal scorer on her Spurs debut. The ball goes all the way through to Yanez. Scored 9 goals in her WSL days with Manchester City, di Raso. Also with Everton too, of course. And back on the score sheet in the WSL this afternoon, Hayley Raso. Green. Vi. Gael to Vida. Vida with the high hanging cross, but it drifts straight out of play for a Tottenham goal kick. Vida has given Palace one of their best moments at the half on her debut, having signed from Ajax, twice a title winner with Ajax. A lovely run which sets up a headed chance for Josie Green, who was unable to make the most of it, heading the ball behind herself, really, perhaps in search of a teammate. But it was a run and skill and trickery from Vida which deserved more, really. Suminen ushers it away from Stengel towards Neville. Neville to Spence. Potter just about in combination, wins it back and takes the free kick in combination with Gael. Taken too early though, says Amy Fern. Free kick to Palace. Via takes, it's back with Via. She moves beyond Thomas. Tries to find Blanchard, drops to Gael. Potter. Everett. Back once more to Potter. Everett. Green. Final seconds of added time at the end of this first half. Palace searching for an equaliser, but they're being forced back into their own territory now. And it's all the way back with Yanez. via Everett's. Added time at the end of added time. And Amy Fern blows the half-time whistle. Tottenham have a narrow lead, but it has been a promising WSL debut from the visitors and a blistering WSL Tottenham debut for Hayley Raso. Back in the WSL and back scoring goals again. A finish of the highest quality to give Tottenham the lead in the 19th minute. A lead they've held on to. And it sets the second half up here at Brisbane Road nicely. Well, welcome back to Brisbane Road, where that women's goal, Hayley Raso, has given Tottenham a half-time lead, 1-0 up against WSL debutants Crystal Palace. A thoroughly entertaining first half. No changes from either team at the break. Martha Thomas getting ready to get the second half underway for the home team. Tottenham with Becky Spencer in goal, Ashley Neville, Molly Bartrip, the captain, Claire Hunt on her debut, and Amanda Nilden, who survived the first half head injury. Across the back line, Maite Oroth, the new signing from Real Madrid in midfield, alongside Evelina Summanen and Drew Spence. And up top, Hayley Raso, another summer signing from Real Madrid, who gave Tottenham the lead. Thomas and Jess Naz, who's just won Tottenham a free kick out on that left-hand side. And there is a booking for Millie Guile on her debut. 7 debutants for Crystal Palace. In fact, it's Josie Green with the yellow card. It looked like Millie Guile, but Josie Green, another Crystal Palace substitute, who got the yellow. And free kick for Tottenham. Early chance to double their lead. And it comes and headed on. And just wide by Thomas. Beautiful glancing header from the Scotland international. 7 goals for Tottenham last season. And oh, I don't know if she did get a touch, actually, but so close. And it was indeed, in fact, Millie Guile who got booked for that foul, not Josie Green. So Millie Guile in the book for Crystal Palace. Summer signing. Danish international. Corner for Tottenham. Headed down and off the line. Well, Ashley Neville with the header, I think. And Palace scrambled it away. So close to a second for Tottenham. Molly Bartrip, really good start to the second half from the hosts, as they look to try and put some clear daylight between themselves and last season's championship title winners. Palace equipping themselves well in the first half. Did not look at all out of place at this elite level of the women's game. Nilden. But they do trail to Tottenham. And as mentioned last season, when Tottenham went ahead in the 9 games they went ahead in the WSL, they didn't lose any of them. They won 6 of them, drew the other 3. That was the best record of any team when scoring the first goal in a game. Tottenham know how to hold on to leads. They're looking to double one here. Is back with Oroth on her debut, the Spain international. She goes back to Neville. Neville drills it in. Flicks up off a Palace boot. And there's a foul by Oroth on Riley. There is the Spain international, Real Madrid playmaker, who can do some wonderful things on the ball. She's had a few special moments this afternoon, a few special touches, and plenty of promise of what is to offer from her. Raso, the goal scorer, charging through on Yanez, who manages to get the ball away. Blanchard. Neville cuts out the attempted pass to Vida. Spence. Thomas tries to surge away from Tottenham. Via knocks it behind for the corner. The Palace team, Yanez in goal. Via, Green, Everett, the captain, Fliss Gibbons. Across the middle, Millie Guile, India Page Riley, Lexi Potter on her second season on loan from Chelsea, Annabelle Blanchard and Ashley Veerda, the number 11. And up top, Katie Stengel, another summer signing. 7 debutants, no changes at the break. And still 1-0 Tottenham. High hanging corner. Raso with the header. Neville tries to get there and it's palmed behind by Yanez. Fingertip stop. And Ashley Neville leapt high and just got the faintest touch to it. Raso and Everett combined with the header. And I don't know how much, in fact, Neville did get on that. I think it may have just bounced all the way through, but Yanez did well to tip it behind. Another corner for Tottenham. Same type of corner. Blanchard smashes it away. Half-hearted appeals from the fans, at least, for a penalty as a Tottenham player hit the ground. No appeals from the players. Bartrip, the Tottenham captain. Well, Palace have barely had a touch in this second half. 5 minutes in now. Raso. Still Hayley Raso. Lovely ball across the top of the 6-yard box to Thomas, who couldn't get the shot away. Palace being rather penned in. Green, former Tottenham player, back to Yanez. Yanez just manages to get the touch away as Thomas was putting her under pressure. That pass hit a little too heavy to Blanchard, who did really well, in fact, to bring it under control and find Gibbons. Gibbons back inside. Stengel with the lovely layoff to Blanchard. Still Blanchard, and again, just a little heavy in the touch, but Veerda does keep the ball in. Ashley Veerda. And Neville gets the touch in to tap it out for a throw-in. Fliss Gibbons with the throw for Palace. Back to Gibbons. Potter. Everett to Via. Potter loose in the pass, and Tottenham win it back. Spence down the middle for Naz. Naz has got space to run into. She's got Thomas to her right. She doesn't need her. Naz, oh, what a save by Yanez, but Naz is there to tap home the rebound. And Jessica Naz doubles Tottenham lead early in the second half. It was a lovely breakaway goal. It looked for a moment like she'd been thwarted by Shea Yanez. But Naz followed it up to poke it home. Lovely ball by Spence. And Naz just strode into the space. Yanez stood up and stood strong, but could only parry the ball straight back into the path of Jess Naz. And Tottenham do now have clear daylight between themselves and the WSL newcomers, and it has been a really bright start to the second half for Tottenham. No more than they deserve. They've lifted the tempo, they've gone up a gear in this second half, and Palace haven't quite worked out how to respond, and they now find themselves facing a 2-goal deficit. Oroff did really well to win that. Raso's given away the free kick, though, for the foul on Gibbons. Palace just have to be really careful now not to let this game get completely beyond them. We have seen occasions where newly promoted sides have found themselves quickly out of depth in the division. It hasn't looked at all this afternoon as though you could put Palace in that bracket, but the complexion of games can change very quickly. They have been under the cosh a bit in this second half. Blanchard trying to ease the pressure. Good run and ball to Stengel. Stengel with the cross in and Palace with a corner. This is a good response now. This is an opportunity for Palace to try and get the first goal of their WSL history. Corner kick, which the Danish international Mille Geil will take. High and hanging from Geil and all the way through. And it almost dropped to Josie Green to get the shot away. Stengel also charging in. And Becky Spencer drops on the ball. Well, it was Stengel with the initial shot, and it came into the path of Green. And Stengel did so well with that run, in fact. She timed it to perfection. Arrowed the ball back across the goal mouth. And Josie Green just couldn't turn it home against her former club, Tottenham, on the charge now. Naz. Back to Olof. Olof surging through the middle. Looks to find Nilden. Nilden wins Tottenham the corner. Suominen to take. And it comes from Suominen, and it goes all the way through as Neville tumbled to the turf, but there was no foul in there. It's gone straight out for a Palace goal kick. As we head towards the hour mark, just a reminder of the options on the bench for both managers. Robert Villaham, the Tottenham manager, his new goalkeeper. Caitlin Tolbert of the USA is the substitute keeper today. Luana Buller, Charlotte Grant, defenders. Grant, it looked at one moment, might have to come on very early when Amanda Nilden was down with a head injury, but Nilden recovered and is still on there. Midfielders Olga Artonen, Anna Chicki. Summer signing, Hungarian international from Häcken, Villaham's former club. Matilda Wimberg, the Swede. Up top, Bethany England. Will we see her? And the youngsters, Lena Gunning-Williams and Araya Dennis, who had a loan spell herself with Palace last season. Started the season an Arsenal player, ended it as a Tottenham player, signing for Spurs in February, but spent pretty much the entire campaign on loan at Palace. Tottenham on the charge with Raso. Raso inside and didn't quite get the pass right to Spence. Wins it back though, does Raso. What a debut she's had. Oroth smashes the shot, but it comes off a Palace foot, and it's now with Suominen. Hunt sweeps a beautiful wall to Neville. Neville with the cross in, and Thomas was lurking. Drops to Suominen. Shifts it to the left-hand side where Nilden keeps it in. Nilden with a short ball to Suominen. Suominen with the deep cross, which Thomas brings down and gets the shot away, but it's straight at Yanez. Well, she's been lively this afternoon. She's put herself about as Martha Thomas, but she's been largely frustrated. And everything she's hit has tended to be too close to Yanez. She did so well to bring that down and work the space for the shot. But it hit it straight down the middle of the goal mouth, and she's just down, requiring a bit of attention now. And as she receives treatment, perhaps, well, Amy Fern saying maybe we don't need the medical staff on. But the Palace substitutes, should Laura Kaminski choose to ring the changes. Up top, Poppy Pritchard, 18-year-old on loan for the season from Manchester City. So much excitement about the England under-19 international. Abby Larkin, of course, the young Irish international forward. Molly May Sharp, who can play attacking roles. Izzy Atkinson, another Ireland international, signed from West Ham midway through last season. if Kaminsky feels she needs to ring the changes to try and chase down this 2-goal Tottenham lead. Chloe Arthur, midfielder, also among the substitutes. Lily Woodham, formerly of Reading, signed on loan until the end of December from Seattle Reign, has Lily Woodham. Brooke Aspin, the Chelsea defender, on loan here for the season, also among the subs. And their backup goalkeeper, new signing Mia Sari. But it's Tottenham on the charge with Raso, who gave them the lead in the 19th minute and looking for a second of the afternoon, and it clatters off Thomas. Well, it came off of Palace boots and behind. But Hayley Raso so close to a 2-goal debut. Another stupendous run. Corner for Tottenham as they go in search of a third. Thomas heads it back to Olos. Nilden loops the cross in, it's headed by Spence. Straight down the middle of the goal again. Too often this afternoon, Tottenham have put that final effort too close to Shea Yanez. Spence with the header, it was dropping just under the bar, but comfortable for Shea Yanez. And both managers are getting ready to make a couple of substitutions, it would appear. Rasso's caught by Gibbons, and it'll be a Tottenham free kick. And a yellow card for Bliss Gibbons. And Annabelle Blanchard also goes into the book for dissent. Tottenham with a free kick and a chance for a third goal. Doesn't look like Bethany England's getting ready to come on for Tottenham. One would imagine Martha Thomas to make way. But before that, Tottenham have a free kick. Sumanen to take it. Could Thomas get a goal with a final touch? Well, she nearly does. Just got too much on it this time to pull it across goal and wide of that far post. It might be her final contribution. And she does leave the fray, and she's replaced by Bethany England. And Tottenham also giving a debut to Anna Chicky, the number 14. So Beth England replaces Martha Thomas, and Anna Chicky comes on for Jess Naz. Katrina Vai departs in place of Brooke Aspin, so there's a defensive change to Chelsea on loan, 19-year-old, and also Ashley Verda off, and Abby Larkin, the 19-year-old island forward, comes on for her. Abby Larkin has got 27 minutes to try and get a goal on her WSL debut, to try and bring Palace back into the game. Spence. Chicky. Anna Chicky tries to win the corner, but couldn't quite manage it. But a decent first involvement in the game for Anna Chicky, the signing from Häcken. Shea Yanez holding her, the underside of her right knee, left knee rather, and Palace have found the second half pretty hard going. Pretty even in the first half, despite Tottenham's 19th minute lead, but Tottenham have really had the better of the first 20 minutes of this second half. We can see the second goal of the afternoon, which arrived in the 53rd minute. Spence seizing the loose ball, threading the perfect through ball to Naz, who strode away from Vaya. And when the shot came back off Yanez, just tucked it home to give Spurs a 2-0 lead. And they have been well on top in this second half, with just over a quarter of the game remaining. Crystal Palace have a lot of work to do. Bethany England there now, wearing the captain's armband. She was named captain at the start of last season. Molly Bartrip started this afternoon with that armband on, with Beth England on the bench. But moments ago, Beth England came on to replace Martha Thomas. She did get 5 goals in the WSL last season, Beth England. Started the season with injury problems. Only Thomas with 7 got more for Spurs in the WSL. Shea Yanez, having been attended to by the medics, is back on her feet. She's had a decent afternoon. A lot of the shots, as I mentioned, have gone pretty close to her, but she's stood up, she's handled things well. Almost thwarted Naz on the second goal. May feel she could have done better on the Raso effort. It was tucked right in the corner, but it wasn't hit with immense power. Chicky falls to the turf, no free kick. Palace look to break. Too much on the ball for Stengel to get that. Throw in taken by Neville. Bartrip clatters it clear. And it is a free kick to Tottenham. After Nilden was caught. Taken by Hunt, short to Oroth. Spence to Raso. And the whistle's gone. For a Tottenham free kick. Bartrip. Neville. Gibbons will get there before Chicky and knocks it off of Chicky and out for a Palace throw. Foul on Larkin, free kick to Palace. Well, Anna Chicky, the number 14 in shot there, becomes the first Hungarian ever to play in the WSL, having just come on. Started out at Ferencváros in her homeland, where she made her debut just 16 years old. She's now 24. Signed from Häcken this month until 2028. Clearly the club have high hopes for her to commit her to a 4-year deal. Won the league twice and the cup 3 times with Ferencváros. And then it was on to Häcken midway through the 2020 season, where she also won the league and cup in her time there. Helped them get to the Champions League quarter-final last season with their best run for quite some time. And after 89 appearances and 9 goals with Häcken, she's now in the WSL. And Bethany England's been in the WSL for a long time and is looking to get Tottenham's third of the game. And it's a brilliant last-ditch challenge. And the shot comes in eventually from off. And again, Yanez is there, and Beth England can't quite believe that she hasn't put Tottenham 3 goals to the good. You would have put your house on it as she strode into space. But Yanez threw out the right leg and then stood up true and strong to deny Oroth. Spence through to Raso. And Raso hesitated too long and Green got back. And in fact, Yanez is having quite some Palace debut, isn't she, between the sticks. She said Bristol City last season allowed her to fulfill her WSL dream when she moved midway through the campaign. And she is proving to be a goalkeeper of Premier League class, of WSL class rather, this afternoon. Spence threads it through to Olof. And Tottenham have hit too many of their shots too close to her, but she, timing again, her positioning is supreme. Her handling immaculate. As Tottenham still go in search of this third to, you would imagine, truly kill off the game. They've looked comfortable throughout this second half. You can't see Palace getting back into this the way this game is panning out. The games can change quickly, and Tottenham know a third would surely kill it off, and they haven't yet been able to find that. Neville. Chicky. Chicky to Spence. Bartrip. Bartrip all the way back to Spencer. Bartrip with the long ball to Neville. Neville's got space to run into. Chicky's in the middle, so is England. Oh, Neville hits it too hard. And out of play for a Palace goal kick. Another promising situation comes to nothing for Tottenham. It's a lovely ball to find Neville. And look, Chicky and England were both lurking. I think Neville might even have gone for the goal herself there. She wasn't far away. Smashed it hard and true, but it went over the bar. Clearly only the right decision if that ends up in the back of the net. That sort of effort. And you've got 2 players in promising positions right in the centre of goal. Still remains just 2-0. And a Palace goal would change the complexion of the game over these closing stages. Stengel. Deep cross in. It's going to come all the way through to Blanchard. Blanchard back across the goal mouth. Guile threw out a foot. Comes all the way through to Stengel. Stengel with the cross back in. Spurs get it away to England. Suman's touch is loose and Palace have it back. Gibbons. Aspen. The Chelsea loanee, just 19. What a season she had for Bristol City last season. Was a rock in an otherwise leaky defence. Tottenham free kick. Amy Everett, the Palace captain, number 6. She and her manager, Laura Kaminsky, will take a few positives from this afternoon's game. Plenty of positives, in fact. Palace making their 3rd change of the afternoon. Molly May Sharp coming on for India Paige Riley. Molly May Sharp, part of the team that won promotion last season, signed a new 2-year deal in June. Spurs already getting ready for their 3rd change of this afternoon. Looks like it's going to be like for like in midfield, with Finn replacing Finn, Artinen on for Suminen shortly. In fact, Amy Everett went into the book moments ago. The Palace captain, Drew Spence for Tottenham. Drew Spence into space, pulls the trigger and smashes it home. Drew Spence gives Tottenham a 3rd goal of the afternoon. She arrows it into the bottom corner. Oh, it was a lovely flick on by Beth England. And Drew Spence found the perfect spot between Shea Yanez and the upright to surely give the 3 points to Tottenham. And Evelina Suminen is replaced by her Finland teammate Olga Artinen. Tottenham's 3rd substitution of the afternoon. And there's the confirmation of the booking for the Palace captain, Amy Everett, a few moments ago. Before that, Drew Spence goal, which has probably killed off any hopes they had, Palace, of getting something out of their WSL debut. Palace need to work hard now to make sure they keep this scoreline respectable. They did turn professional at the start of last season, so it's not quite as big a step up as we have seen for some teams in the past, coming up from a part-time model. They've already got the full-time model in place, but it is, of course, a real step up still between the Championship and the WSL. While many of their new signings have played at this sort of level, whether in England or elsewhere, it's far from the case that the entire squad has. Stengel, she certainly has, but she can't get this shot right. Sends it sailing well over the bar, Katie Stengel. Arrives here on deadline day, a 2-year deal from New Jersey, New York, Gotham. Got 17 goals in 33 competitions in her last spell in the WSL with Liverpool, which is a decent return. As Chicky gives away the free kick for a foul on Gibbons. Everett. Gibbons. Back to Brooke Aspen. Brooke Aspen signed for Chelsea last summer, 2023, from Bristol City, but was loaned back to Bristol City in the campaign as they fought relegation and didn't quite manage to stay up. And now she's spending the season on loan at Palace. Spence, who scored Tottenham's third moments ago. Neville. Still Neville. Neville just holds on to it and tried to curl it into that far corner, but Aspen with the header behind. Spurs corner, which Artinen, the recent substitution, will take. Amy Fern just comes over to make sure that ball is at least overlapping the quadrant as it needs to do. Tottenham in search of a fourth. Artinen sweeps it in. Yanez gets the punch away. Blanchard can't complete the clearance and it drops to Chicky. And Blanchard knocks it behind. It's another, well, in fact, it's a goal kick. Chicky thought it was a corner. But it came off the Hungarian. Palace about to make another double change, their fourth and fifth substitutions of the afternoon. So off goes Katie Stengel. And on comes Poppy Pritchard, highly rated Man City forward on loan for the season, and Lily Woodham replaces Fliss Gibbons. Lily Woodham, once of Reading, back in the WSL on loan from Seattle Reign for the first half of the season at least. And she gets her first touch. Larkin. Raso has got so much space to run into. Hayley Raso tries to pick out Neville. Comes back to Spence. Lays it off to Artinen. Oh, and palmed over the bar by Yanez. Another fine save from the Palace keeper, Olga Artinen. Again, it was straight down the middle of the goal, but this one certainly didn't lack power. And that was the most eye-catching of Yanez's many saves this afternoon. She has kept the scoreline respectable. The game has got away from Palace, though, after a very promising first half. Tottenham's greater WSL know-how has really told in this second half. And there's a chance of a couple more goals for them, perhaps. There's time, at least, for a couple more goals for them. Bartrip. They dominated the second half, have Spurs. Jess Naz got the second goal of the afternoon in the 53rd minute. Drew Spence in the 75th. Spence on the ball here to England. England knocks it on once more, and now it's with Neville. Green cuts out Neville's cross, and Palace clear. But there's some tired legs out there now. Despite the 5 substitutions, there's a tiredness to Palace's shape. They're being stretched. Raso, if anything, you'd say perhaps the substitutions haven't really helped Crystal Palace maintain their shape. Neville back defending. She hasn't had to do much of that in this second half. Possa Pritchard on her WSL debut on loan from Manchester City, England under-19 international, just 18 years old. Neville strong in the challenge, space to run into. Knocks it back inside though, and it's wayward, and it's picked up by Blanchard. Potter. Arsenan. Bartrip. Raso to Spence. Two of the 3 goal scorers combined. Olof. Arsenan. Threads it through to Raso. Nilden with the cross inwards, almost turned into a shot. Yanez gets a touch on it. Neville tries to win it back. Palace hold on to it. And it's a Spurs throw. Tottenham readying for their final substitutions of the afternoon. Well, Charlotte Grant replaces Amanda Nilden. That nearly happened in the opening 10 minutes when Amanda Nilden had a head injury. She was able to play on, but the Swede is now replaced by the Australian, as Charlotte Grant, who signed back in January, replaces Amanda Nilden, who did likewise. And off comes Hayley Raso to a standing ovation, a goal on her Tottenham debut. And she's going to be replaced by a player of whom hopes are really high for an exciting future. Lena Gunning-Williams, 19-year-old. She's one of Tottenham's own. Signed her first pro deal back in last summer. Spent last season on loan at Ipswich. Robert Villahan was asked about her in the week. Did he see this being another season where she'd be sent out on loan? And he said, no, I see her as very much a part of the first team. So great expectations for Lena Gunning-Williams ahead of 2024-25. She's on for the final few minutes here. Arsenan pulls the trigger. What a goal! The pick of the bunch from Tottenham's 4 this afternoon. Well, it has turned into something of a rout, but there was absolutely nothing that Shea Yanez could do about that one. What a strike from Olga Arsenan. Perfect first touch to roll it into position, and then she hammered it into that top corner to put the icing on what has turned into a truly delicious cake for Tottenham in the first game of 2024-25. They've had the appetite for goals from the off. They haven't always, or they've often found Shea Yanez an obstacle too far. But as the game has worn on, Palace have become stretched and Tottenham have found the back of that net with increasing regularity. And it's looking like there's going to be 6 minutes of added time, so you just worry a little for Crystal Palace in these closing stages. Because in so many ways it's been a more than respectable WSL debut, but the second half has taken its toll on this team, and Tottenham are cutting through now with increasing regularity. Gunning-Williams. Sharp for Palace, but it's going to be picked up again by Tottenham. They just keep coming. Palace just can't buy themselves any time. They just can't get any respite. Oroth. Spence. Larkin for Palace. Can they get a consolation? Can they get a first goal of their WSL history? Blanchard goes for it. It deflects up and over. Spence behind. Well, Becky Spencer looks up, not really knowing where that ball was going. I think she was comfortable, in fact, that it wasn't going to drop under the bar. Blanchard went for it, and it spun high and wide. But Palace do have a corner. Lily Woodham to take it. 6 minutes confirmed, 6 minutes of added time. Chance for Palace to leave Brisbane Road with a WSL goal at least to show for their efforts. Headed away by Neville. And the flag has gone up, I think, and it is a Tottenham free kick. I was going to say they're in no hurry to take it, but obviously the points are wrapped up. I think they're in the mood for goals. They know there's time for at least one, perhaps two more. Chicky. Really well won that by Lexi Potter. Larkin. Larkin with the looped ball in, and it almost drops to Pritchard. And it's scrambled away by Hunt. It's an unorthodox cross in, really, and it fell between Spencer and Pritchard, who was looking for that debut goal. Hunt knocks it behind. Palace have another corner. Woodham to take again. High hanging corner straight into the arms of Spencer. Well, as I mentioned, it doesn't get any easier for Crystal Palace. Their next fixture, home, under the Selhurst Park lights, Friday night against WSL title holders Chelsea. Chelsea, who of course got their title defence off to a winning start on Friday night. That 1-0 victory, hard fought 1-0 victory at home to Aston Villa. Manchester United beating West Ham 3-0 yesterday. Brighton 4-0 winners at home to Everton. Earlier today, Arsenal and Manchester City played out an entertaining 2-2 draw. Marnham and Mead on target for the Gunners. Mead with an equaliser 9 minutes from time after Miedema on her City debut, and Jess Park had put City 2-1 up after being 1-0 down to Marnham's early efforts. That one finished 2-2. This is the final game of the weekend with Gunning-Williams. Well, the whistle had already gone as she sensed perhaps her first WSL goal, but the whistle denied her any chance of that, and she was off target with the shot. This is the final game of the WSL weekend, along with Liverpool-Leicester, which is 1-1 going into added time. Tottenham next up, away to Villa at Villa Park next Sunday. And they can go there full of confidence. What a start to the season. Professional performance, 4 goals, 4 goal scorers. Debut goal for Raso. And Chicky was hoping to get among the goal-scoring debut act there, and Brooke Aspen pulled her down and then kicked the ball away. She's got to be really careful because she has received a booking for each of those incidents, which was my fear as she kicked that ball away. A booking for the foul. And you've got to keep your head in that situation, because she then vented her frustrations by kicking the ball away. And on her Crystal Palace debut, Brooke Aspen is sent off, having been introduced as a late substitute. The Chelsea loanee, just 19 years old, and she's let her frustrations get the better of her there. And now Laura Kaminski is going to be denied her services, when in fact she will be, won't she, ineligible to play against Chelsea on Friday. So she'll have to serve the ban for the following fixture. I'm assuming that's how it works. Have to check to be sure on the details of that. But Brooke Aspin's sent off, and that is a dismal end to the afternoon, really. When there are positives, it seems strange to say that, given that Crystal Palace have ended this match having conceded 4 and seen a player sent off, but there has been positives for them, certainly in that first half. But now 10 players have to defend Chicky's free kick, and it goes all the way to the far post. And who is there again to deny Gunning-Williams but Shay Yanez? Oh, Gunning-Williams so close to getting a Tottenham goal, the Spurs youngster, but Shay Yanez just kicking it off the goal line. I mean, she has such a fine afternoon, the Palace goalkeeper, despite those 4 goals that have gone in against her. Time and again, she's denied Spurs. Gunning-Williams did score on a Tottenham debut in a Continental Cup game against Coventry back in November 2022. But that could have been a first WSL goal for the 19-year-old. Blanchard was giving it away, has she? Gunning-Williams was lurking, and it's going to drop to Chicky. Chicky, oh, saved again by Yanez. It's just ridiculous, the times that she has got an arm and a leg or a body in the way. She certainly looks at home in the WSL. Crystal Palace, arguably, I mean, they did look certainly a team of WSL pedigree in the first half of this match. Second half's been really tough for them. And the final whistle goes, and Tottenham start 2024-25 in almost perfect fashion. A clean sheet, 4 goals, 4 goal scorers, 3 points under their belts. The goals from Hayley Raso on her debut, then the old crowd, Jess Naz, Drew Spence and Olga Artonen with the pick of the bunch late on. Crystal Palace, Alexi Potter in shot there. Real promise in the first half. Went in just 1-0 down, but the game got away from them in the second half, and they are indebted to their goalkeeper, Shay Yanez, for save after save after save to prevent the scoreline being a good deal worse than it was in the end. It has finished at Brisbane Road. Tottenham 4, Crystal Palace 0, and we can look back at the best moments from an entertaining game for the neutral, a splendid afternoon for Tottenham, ultimately a difficult one for the WSL newcomers. Raso with the first of many shots which Yanez saved comfortably. Others were much harder for her. Raso pulling it back to Naz. Spence. Yanez at full stretch. Wasn't the most powerful effort. Another comfortable save for her. And Raso giving the Spurs a 19th minute lead. The former Man City and Everton player, the Australia international, on her Spurs debut, rolled it home. Lovely run, lovely finish from her. Tottenham 1-0 up. But Palace very much in the game at that moment. Ashley Veerda on her debut, picking out Green against her former club, and she got the header all wrong. Spence threading the through ball for Thomas, who took it away from Vaya, but again made it pretty easy for Shay Yanez. Nilden recovered from an early head injury, played the 1-2 with Thomas. Ball found its way through to Raso, and that was a really fine save from Yanez. Also Gibbons getting a touch. Thomas almost getting on a Sumanen free kick. And Tottenham came on really strong in the second half. They were peppering the goal mouth. Neville with the header, ultimately cleared off the goal line. Again, the corners came. Again, the efforts on goal came. Neville not quite able to connect with that one. And the second goal in the 53rd minute. Spence played it through to Naz. Naz took it beyond Via. Yanez saved the first effort. But she was there, Jess Naz, to tuck home the rebound and give Tottenham a 2-0 lead early in the second half. And they control the second half. They smothered Palace. Raso not that impressed with the celebration there. The footwork and the one of rare chances for Palace. Stengel with the shot. Green couldn't turn it in. Thomas brought that down beautifully, swiveled, but shot straight at Yanez once more. Raso smashed that shot in and it came off Everett ultimately for a Spurs corner. Headed from Spence, too close once more to Yanez. Suminen with the free kick, which Thomas almost turned home with her final touch before being replaced by Beth England. England has so much time, so much space, but this was one of Yanez's best saves of the afternoon off the right foot, and she was there to smother Orothy's follow-up as well. Blanchard with a cross shot, which Palace couldn't convert. And Drew Spence, lovely touch, lovely ball by England, touched by Spence, who followed it in the end with a finish of the highest order to drill it home in that narrow gap between Yanez and the near post. And Artinen was just getting in the mood for what was to follow. Yanez denied her that time. But on this occasion, what about this? For the goal of the afternoon. A goal of the quality that Tottenham's efforts in the end merited. A superb way to finish off the scoring. Blanchard's deflected effort wasn't too far away from Palace getting a consolation. And Abby Larkin, the substitute, almost picks out Poppy Pritchard, 18-year-old on loan for the season from Man City. Brooke Aspen sent off. She fouled Chicky and was going to be booked for that anyway, and kicked the ball away, meaning she was booked for 2 incidences in the space of 5 seconds and sent off on her Palace debut. Still, there was time for another effort. Gunning Williams, the Spurs youngster, the substitute, latching onto the end of the free kick in. Yanez there again to save it, as she was right at the end. It almost became laughable, the amount of times that Shea Yanez kept Palace in that game. You could only laugh almost with disbelief. A magnificent performance from Shea Yanez in the Palace goal. Moments of promise, moments of hope that Palace are not going to look out of place in the WSL, but ultimately that scoreline shows just how hard it's going to be for them to stay afloat in this division. Thank you for joining us for a thoroughly entertaining game on match day 1 of the Barclays Women's Super League. It is finished at Brisbane Road. Tottenham Hotspur 4, Crystal Palace 0.